Hey, what is up, guys? Aldo here. Welcome back to the channel. If you enjoyed the content, always appreciate you guys smashing the like button. Man, first, obviously a lot has happened. Very sad day, or I guess I'm in Asia, so I'm on the other side here yesterday for that matter. Really, really sad. Obviously, Charlie Kirk got assassinated. Really sad. And then it's 9/11 right now, some more anniversary of just very tragic, very sad parts in American history. And, I was very shocked. I usually don't talk too much about politics or any of that type of stuff on this channel, too much more, crypto and all that. But, obviously really sad thinking about, all this stuff and, kind of just digesting it. And, yeah, I mean, my one view is like, on college campuses, I mean, there's obviously been quite a few, shootings on college campuses. And I feel like most of the time you're able to find out who did it, especially with all the surveillance on a college campus and cameras. I'm kind of surprised they're not able to figure that out real quick. So I would be, if you can't figure that out in a few more days from now, I mean, especially obviously it was kind of caught on camera, him getting I don't want to go into too much detail, but, he was speaking. I'm sure there were probably many people filming that to, kind of figure out exactly where that bullet came from, who was around there. Shouldn't be that difficult, but that's not what this video is really about. But that's just my kind of thoughts on it, and it's obviously very very sad. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Anyway, let's kind of get into it. CPI or PPI, whatever it was, the inflation data came in better than anticipated, and if you look at, we'll talk about before I get into actual TA. I mean, these are the latest trades. I've been kind of, milking this Ethereum long for a while, hoping that we could, break upward rather than break downward, which I think there's a good shot. I definitely think there's a good shot at that still, based on what the charts are looking at. PPI data is good or CPI data is good. It wouldn't surprise me if you do have a red September for whatever reason. That's kind of just what history is. And there's a lot of, good big points that we could bounce off of in September. So I don't know what's going to happen, but that's trading for you. It's just you get your edge through TA and all that, and over time you'll be profitable. So that's kind of the way. That's really the only way to do it, in my opinion. But yeah. And ultimately, we're going to get probably. I mean, September's a done deal for a cut. I don't think you'll see a double cut. That's unlikely unless things really crash or something crazy happens. And then another cut in October. That's most likely December. Probably even a third cut December, and then January probably a pause. Now, the last time they paused was this January of this year. What happened? That marked the top of a lot of markets. A lot of altcoins still haven't made a new high. Still haven't beat out that high from January. So a big place to look at if we repeat that situation. I think that's kind of important to look at right there. And let's get into kind of the TA here. So ultimately, Bitcoin, I mean, you're getting a green hike in ASHI on the 6 day. Some better things, I would say, as long as you hold, kind of 112, I think you got a good shot of hitting 116 up to these points. I mean, I would say best case scenario, maybe by the end of the month, 129, 130K could be in the cards. I mean, I don't really care too much about what Bitcoin does here. The 3 day, by the way, trigger wave, I mean, that's pretty good, assuming you confirm in 1 day, which you probably should, unless something pretty wild happens. So yeah, I think you got a good shot of continuing forward. It's a post-halving year. I wouldn't get too pessimistic for no reason here. So let's just keep it at that. And as long as this stays sideways to bullish, alts could continue to do pretty well. If you look at Ethereum, I mean, as long as we hold 443.39, around there, that's a big place to hold. And I think you got a good shot of jumping up to 4,800 and then 5,400 end of the month right there. 55 or whatever. So that point right there, you could hit. That's probably best case scenario. I mean, if you break downward, first, I would think, something like this, hit these huge points right here, major area right there, 37, 39, and then into, later on, probably October, 5 to 6K, and then hopefully November, December, 7,300 or something. And that's kind of what I'd be looking at right there. And if we look at, trying to find trigger waves or whatever, confirm the one on the daily, starting to look good again. Kind of been going back and forth because the market's been so boring, but I mean, in all likelihood, based on the TA right now, you should jump up to 4,800 before you, more likely jump up to 4,800 rather than break down to 3,900 right there. So that's kind of what you're looking at, and money flow coming up, VWAP coming up there. And then, yeah, some higher time frames. I mean, I would argue that these still generally look pretty good in the macro. The thing that I would be looking at for a market cycle top for most things, most charts would kind of tell you the same thing. Probably the next 3-week red dot here as this comes down sometime between October to December probably would be a market cycle top, given what we've seen in history. Usually the 3-week, red wave above the zero line, red dot above the zero line in the fourth quarter gives you the market cycle top. So that's what we're looking at right there. But I think you still got a good shot, next couple months into October, November, potentially 7,300. Best case scenario for end of year, 11K. I mean, if you do go into early January or something like 2018, yeah, I mean, 11K could be in the table. I mean, maybe a little bit before then. We'll see what happens. Obviously, very hard to say now. What I'll talk about now is some altcoins that, potentially got a good shot of doing something soon. And AVAX has been creeping up. I like it. You're jumping up. Your money flow is coming up a bit more here. Direction of money flow upward, and then potentially jumping up a little bit more. 47, 48. These areas, if you can break above, I'll start with 32. Break up to these areas. Into end of year, I mean, hopefully you could do something like this. I would even hope for something like this even, and that would be into November, back close to all-time highs, which is not impossible here. So something like that, making a new all-time high, that would probably be tough, but I think AVAX could do something cool. And I mean, the most important thing right now, I think, is outperforming Ethereum, and this probably, remember I was talking about this a lot, guys, looking really good in that 2-week there. So I do not think it's probably too late to get into this or convert some Ethereum into AVAX right now. Not financial advice, obviously, be careful, but I do think you got a good shot of jumping up to at least these points over here. So keep an eye on that. Total 3 versus Bitcoin. I mean, the big thing here, I think, 260%, mid 200%. I did it from the average area, not from the exact lows, but this was at the end of 2017. This was in early 21, a little bit different that time in the 4-year cycle. If it's more like this end of 2025, then I mean we're still only in September. You got like 4 more months of the year, about a little over 3, close to 4 more months of the year. Potentially jumping up here. If your average altcoin outperforming Bitcoin by about 100%, I think that's doable. If your average altcoin, doubles or triples and Bitcoin only goes up to 150K, that's what that would look like. So, I mean, we're not asking for too much with this. Your average altcoin would only have to do a double or so. So, not a crazy thing to ask for. Chainlink's one I've been looking at a bit. I do like the situation here. The reason I like Chainlink is I think it's kind of close to your old all-time high. Well, it's still down 50%, but I think it's got a good shot of making a new all-time high, which a lot of things obviously probably won't, which I think it's a good one to keep an eye on. I like the trigger wave in the 3-week, something like that, potentially jumping up to 28, maybe even higher could be a big thing there. Give you guys a little freebie, forgot to mention, maybe on AVAX, a little swing trade or something. If you wanted to try to do something, I would probably go along the take profit there. And it's weird glitch on TradingView sometimes. It like puts the thing and you have to, I'm probably missing a hotkey or something, but bear with me. Something like that. I'd probably go to 2-to-1, something like that. You may have to wait a little bit, but sometimes those big moves happen quickly. And you are at a big point. I mean, you're definitely at a big point too. And if you look at others versus Bitcoin, that 2-month that I've been talking about, look, green Heiken Ashi, I mean, green anchor wave, that doesn't happen too often, guys. Very important thing to keep your eye on. And it probably has got a good shot of continuing forward here. Now, don't get mad at me if Bitcoin and ETH and everything corrects a little bit over the rest of the month or the next couple weeks. Just keep an eye, because it can happen, but things generally will come back quick if that does happen in October into the end of the year. And this will probably continue to outperform Bitcoin in that case as well. So keep your eye on that. Link versus ETH, I don't think I talked about this yet. Yeah, back to, sorry about the lack of order, but this jumping off of this area, I think, is pretty important. Trigger wave right here for me. So this looks really good. I think Link can outperform ETH by about 100% or something there. So yeah. And let's move on to Solana. It's always a top I want to look at. I think this has got a good shot potentially end of month. Somewhere between 260, 280, I think is a reasonable goal by end of month. And then hopefully by end of year, 400, I think, is in the cards. Maybe even a little higher. We'll see what happens. I think it could double. The other one I was looking at, obviously had a big run up and now Came down a good amount, kind of as expected after it went parabolic a little bit. I mean, this was just 170%, and then it came down 35%. Nothing too terrible, but yeah, and then trying to kind of hold on. This could go either way here. Hard to say, but I don't really see it going much below 23 cents, and I think it'll eventually jump up to 41 here. This is kind of I don't want to say it's going to make new all-time highs because it's a while away, but you got a decent shot of maybe 80 cents. I mean, at least 40 cents here. These are at least those big areas. So that's what I'm looking at right now, guys. If you guys are interested in the Discord where we post a lot of really good trades, all of these trades here I post ahead of time, top losses, take profits, entry points. Check it out, link down below. We got Nitrogen in there, K-Mac in there as well. If you guys want one free month in Aldo Empire VIP Discord, if you sign up to BloFin, with my link down below, you get 20% cash back off your fees, your trading fees for life. In addition, 15% trading bonus up to 3K in your first deposit, which is really good. So check it out, link down below. Same 20% off your fees with BYDFI. The link is down below as well. If you sign up and deposit at least $100 on either of those down below, and open a support ticket with your UID or your email. We'll give you one free month. And Aldo Empire VIP Discord, just open a support ticket in the Discord with your UID, and we'll get you sorted. So I'll see you guys really soon. Remember to smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Goodbye, guys.